Alright. A little suction cup I put on the webcam. It's actually the suction cup, one of the suction cups that came off of the aquarium pump that I'm using for the water-cooled bed. It's working great, by the way. There are some leaks that came up because my holding container is kind of... Oh, it's loud. Let's hope this... Is it gonna do it? It did it. Unfortunately, it appears to be the wrong size. Hold up. Display. This should be... Wait a minute. Why was it on set to that? There we go. Jeez. Yes. Crying out loud. That's much better. Perfect. Ooh, I should move you guys, or you guys. I should move me. That's not you guys. That's me. I'm me talking. I'm gonna move me over to a not so useful corner. Zing! Where should I move it? Because there's HUD here. There's HUD here. I don't know. I don't think there's HUD up here. And I know there's not HUD over here, because this is where it puts the, that corner is where it puts, you know, like when you have a bunch of, also I need to turn that down a bit, because it's quite loud. Alright, so, here we are. Yeah, so I put it up in this corner. in this top corner here. For the reason. Where am I put it up in this top corner for the reason that the only thing that would be displayed up there would be like the game's sim speed, which, and that's only if I use like the, what is it, Alt F11 or Shift F11, something like that. Oh yeah, that's right, I was working on a new ship, so this, of course, I don't know if you guys have seen this before. I don't actually remember if I've done a video on this. I used to do I did a series on ships that I made in Space Engineers, but this thing is the Garathea battle carrier. This thing is totally awesome. It's absolutely massive. If I just hop down here, go third person, see that little speck? This little speck here. This is me. Woo! Alright, so I'm going to stand here. Then we're going to zoom out. You can barely even see me. If I just turn off the HUD here, it's like, where am I? I'm like this tiny, I'm like 3 pixels on the screen. You guys probably can't even see it at all, just because it's stream compression. Absolutely enormous ship. Yeah, so it's big, and I really do like it. It's a very cool ship. Kind of got, it's based, that's for sure. But it's based on the Stormfront battle cruiser, which I made earlier. Oops. Right. Let's put that out there. So this thing And I based this off of one of the SDF destroyers from Infinite Warfare, actually, because I thought the design looked really cool. So I sort of made like a pseudo copy design of it. But then I was like, this is not as big as I want it to be. It's not quite as ludicrous. I really like the overall shape of it, so I wanted to keep with that sort of theme, but I wanted to go bigger. And so I went about, I'd say maybe twice as big, and likely about 4 to 6 times as much mass. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. Big enough that I can put, like a dragon on it with literally pixel art, which means I got a lot of space. I should put the coloring on this one, because this is sort of like the theme of the third fleet, the third intersystem fleet. So it's got like the big threes, the yellow-red stripe, and I kind of want to make more ships that are sort of part of the fleet. So I got sort of like a nice unified fleet, because in the past all my ships have been sort of, different shapes and sizes. And while I really do love the Dragoness, here, let me find it. The Dragoness Battle Carrier. I really love this ship because it was like my first big ship, which is like, well, okay, it wasn't the first big ship. Technically, I made a heavy cruiser first, but it was just not nearly as cool as this behemoth, which is still, I think, on a tonnage, just a pure tonnage basis, is a lot heavier than any of my other ships. You can see from a size perspective it's pretty heavy, or it's pretty big. However, one thing that it is not is lightly armored. It's got about 2 to 3 blocks of heavy armor in most areas, and it's probably got about the same internal volume. Although it does have a much bigger hangar facility. As you can see, this big, huge open hangar that can dock. It can basically accommodate like frigates and stuff, really. Very big bay inside, and I probably ought to make doors for this at some point, but I'm probably never going to do that. It's got lots of greebling. It's still basically my favorite ship, just because it's like the first really big ship that I made. It's got a freaking gravity cannon, which is absolutely awesome. If I hop into the command bridge here, we can fire it off. There's 2 different bridges on this thing. That's how big and awesome the ship is. I hardly ever use this one, which is the battle bridge. It's sort of like more protected. It's got double layered glass and all that. But yeah, if we aim off over here, you'll notice things also rotates really slow. The roll is not as bad, but the pitch and the they're very atrocious. Anyway, we've got this boy here, right? And it can fire a full-sized... I do have a speed mod on right now. Did you see that? There it goes. There's the projectile going out. You can fire again. And that sucker's going real fast. I think I clocked this in at somewhere around 900 meters a second. And let me show you the projectile. Yeah, I think it was 900 meters a second. So I remember the other gravity cannon didn't do that much. But this is the projectile here. It's pretty much completely inert. I mean, it's got a battery on it, but it's mostly just this heavy armor that's doing the damage. It'll penetrate any ship and do heavy damage to modules especially. It'll phase through a lot of armor, actually, but it'll always destroy modules that it hits. It doesn't phase through modules. I'm not sure entirely why that is, but it might just be because of the way that the armor models itself together. I'm not really sure. Anyway, this ship is totally awesome. This one over here is the newest ship that I'm working on. And like you can see, this is very different design styles here. Yeah, we'll keep that around. The primary cool thing about this is it's got a little gravity cannon in here too. So I still need to set up the, all the stuff for it, but for the most part, it's done in terms of the projector placement, the welders, everything, the gravity generators, all that is basically done. I just need to, get the whole thing finished, put together, which is kind of what I'm going to be doing today on this stream. So, yeah, I do like using the disco armor color for thruster areas. It looks very, very cool. It's kind of got that shiny look to it that you want for. It kind of gives the impression of like an ablative coating, kind of like the tiles on the underside of the space shuttle, So you got these shiny tiles, and I did the same over here on this, on the Garathea here. Just these enormous drive cones. I wish that they had bigger engines. That'd be kind of fun. I'd like to see like a big, maybe like a 6x6 hydrogen engine. That'd be sick. I mean, they already made a big upgrade when they added in the industrial hydrogen engine. I mean, look at this thing. It looks great. This looks fantastic. I should probably show you guys what it looks like without the... let's go with that. Oh, still the same texture. Clean armor. Check that out, though. There's so much like little details and stuff, and that's compared to, the pretty drab older one. Right? I mean, this one looks more durable, but it also looks way more boring. It's also a block shorter. I don't think that has any actual impact on the effectiveness of the thruster, but this thing looks so much better. I mean, the model is just so much higher quality. You can see like the little cooling tubes, and all the piping makes sense. It's got multiple bits of the cone, and then the actual fuel mixer at the very back there. All super dope. I mean, it doesn't have a throat to it, but honestly, it doesn't bother me at all, because this is just such a vast improvement. You can see here they got the ablative tiling, and you've got the cooling tubes, and it's just, it all looks so good. It's very well modeled. I'm just super happy with how it looks. All these little details. But yeah, so that's a pretty clear, in my eyes, a pretty clear improvement. But it's not as big as we might want. And I don't want to use modded thrusters, because then, you spawn in the ship in another server or something, and, your thrusters are just gone, because they're modded. You can't use those. So I like to keep things vanilla. I do like my speed mods, but I can live without them. A lot of people will make whole ships, and then you'll have to get all these mods to make sure the ship works. I can just take my ships to any old server, and if I really need to, I can re-outfit the weapons to fit the server's sort of atmosphere, you know. But honestly, I think it's better vanilla. It's better vanilla. It's simpler. You don't have to worry about the Star Wars blasters just eating your armor alive. I swear the turbo laser mod needs to calm down. As soon as we take like fist-sized chunks out of everything. Like if the turbo laser hits, this is heavy armor, but if the turbo laser hits it, it's just gonna eat like a 3x3 chunk out of it. For the heavy turbo lasers anyway. It's just not. It's like, who wants to play against that? Without a shield mod, without a really good shield mod, you're screwed completely. Which I guess makes sense in the context of Star Wars, where everyone has shields, but yeah, I don't want to play that way. Nope, nope, nope. Yep, so just like on our, you know, sort of the poster child of the fleet, the flagship there, it's got the big threes and the big yellow-red stripe, and so I wanted to keep that theme along with the initial base color and sort of the shape of the hull. Because if you notice here, that shape sort of very similar to this shape. They are different, but not too different. So it'd be sort of like if you just took that and then flipped it up and only had one of them. I also did think about putting twin accelerators in there, and that would be really cool, because that means you could fire twice with one. You could fire twice, and then the banks of gravity pieces would actually just be just fine where they are, because of the way how it's close enough that you could just have these two columns and they could both be firing either gun, which is also cool because that means that you could like alternate and fire really quickly. So while the other thing is welding up another projectile, you could be firing the other one. That's a really cool idea, but I decided against it considering that if we actually go into here, let's just sort of mine our way inside. Mining our way. So if we actually go into this area, you can see it's just thrusters. So that would really, I mean, you could put a barrel through like here. That's theoretically possible, and you could get it all the way back to the pinch point on the fuselage, on the frame itself. So you could get it all the way back to here, and that would give you a pretty long protected acceleration run. But really, aiming big ships like this to fire a main gun, it's not practical. It's not practical. Unless you're fighting another big ship. So if these two were to go to head to head, you know, the Dragoness very well may come out on top. Not only because it's more heavily armored, and I don't think it has more guns, but they're better protected. They've got welders and stuff on the guns, and they're sort of sunk into the armor. But anyway, not only is the Dragoness better protected, but it's got extremely great long-range firepower with this accelerator. I wouldn't want to get into a fight with this thing. But it also turns so slow. Even though these are both really big, slow ships, you could easily move out of the line of fire of the Dragoness in the Garetha. It's fast enough. You can see it's got a fair number of thrusters that look to the sides. These are large hydrogen thrusters, so they're doing work. And though it is a very heavy ship, it's still enough that you can kind of push your way out of the line of fire. So that's not practical, really. But a smaller ship like this, or what this was initially based on, the IPDS. The IPDS was my original gravity gun ship. I made this probably, I want to say 4 years ago. Yeah, it's probably been 4 years now. This had one modded block on it. Actually it was a minigun mod. Anyway, this thing is pretty cool. Let's just put this up. Out of range of the gravity. But this thing, a lot more maneuverable, although it's still quite slow because it's so long. But you can see this moves a lot faster. And while its actual acceleration characteristics are similar enough to these big capital ships that it can't run away very quickly, it certainly can dish out firepower. Now, if you look at the barrel on the Dragoness, it's actually, literally, I chopped the front off of the IPDS back to, I'd say about, back to about there. And then I actually just stuck the barrel into the Dragoness. So it's literally got part of this ship built into it. Because I didn't want to make another gravity cannon, because at the time I was lazy. And, yeah. Let's just say we want to sink around right through the command deck. So that just happened. And the armor really didn't do anything. I wonder... Okay. Yeah, so it destroyed all the windows, chunked these half armor blocks, absolutely smashed the staircase and the seats. If we go down here, you can see we are missing blocks there, and then it went presumably right out the hangar. They do have an awful habit of ricocheting around. I mean, they'll penetrate the armor. They don't really bounce off. That's not how this works. They don't really bounce off, but they do, once they enter the vehicle, tend to try and match themselves to a direction of blocks. Not 100% sure on why that is, but yep, a little lag spike there. Oh, gravity is still on. But yeah, these mass accelerators, they're no joke. They'll do insane amounts of damage. Well, insane amounts of damage for a vanilla build. Let's see, so it went through there. I guess this is the hole, isn't it? Unless there's another... Nope, there's two holes. What is going on here? Was this? Oh, no. No, it passed through here. Okay, so it went through... Yeah, because the cannon's there. So it went through, it hit here, it got deflected up, passed through, destroyed all of these. So if I take out my welder, I should be able to sort of find where it went through. Or not. But yeah, it destroyed these gyroscopes, and then it continued on its merry way through to who knows where. The inside of the ship was also just a catastrophe. There's so much empty space in there. It's quite an inefficient design, despite how much I love it. Just because it's been through a couple of refits, and they haven't exactly fit the interior volume all that well. So, if I fire here, I should hit the engines, but no, I'm going to fire. Let's see if I can hit a gravity. No, let's see if I can hit a jump drive. That should be right about there. Let's see. I think that's a jump drive there. Well, looks like a no. Let's fire again. A little bit further this time, actually. Nope. No cigar. Further back. That hit something important, though I don't know if it was a jump drive. Jeez. Let's see here. Yeah, so it certainly chunked out the thrusters that were there. And I imagine we'll probably see some damage on the other side here. Yeah, so that's where a few passed. I think at least one of them passed through there. As you can see, the cargo containers are missing. You see what I mean? It doesn't. It like ignores armor, but then it destroys modules. So it's a bit wacky. No, that's a jump drive. Is it missing a jump drive? Did it not go off? I swear I have the jump drive mod installed. So I think it did destroy a jump drive. It just didn't actually do enough to the point where it would actually destroy it outright. Or it did too much. Those are the two options. It didn't do enough, or it did too much and the jump drive just disappeared, which is certainly possible. Gosh, this is such a confusing mess. If I actually get lost in it, I just have to break my way out. Yeah, anyway, it's a big ship, well protected, but not against that. It's not exactly a whole lot you can do against that. Although this does make a valiant effort. So if we look here, inside of these bulbs, I don't want to... Sure, whatever. So if we look inside of here, you can see we have spherical gravity generators. And what basically this does is that when you're getting hit with gravity projectiles, you would like go here. Actually, that's going to be... Is that going to be within range? I don't want to push the ship around because it does have some active mass blocks on board. Yeah, that might push it. Here, you know what? I'll leave the Dragoness here. It can be my beacon. We're going to jump this ship a ways away. Not too far, just far enough so that when I turn on the generator, it doesn't mess with the build in progress. Okay. Yeah, you can see this thing rotates certainly a lot faster than the Dragoness. Let's see here. What's our jump distance on jump drive 1? Okay, we have it set to 5 kilometers. That's good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go for jump. Alright, so now we can probably demonstrate. Oh! When did that happen? That might have been a ricochet. Not sure. Anyway, there's a big chunk missing out of the front. I don't know how that escaped my notice. I don't think it's saved in the blueprint though, so it's probably fine. Oh yeah. So so that you can see there, it's right next to our camera. So camera, ooh, cool. Right, but so now if you're loose inside the ship, you You wouldn't want to do that. But now that the gravity generator is on, you can see it really just wants to push everything away from the ship. Especially from the middle part of the ship. I feel like if I were to replace them, I'd place them further towards the back, because the main, like, sort of component area is inside of here. It's protected by a box of armor, but it's still vulnerable to things like a mass driver of some sort. So let's actually put this to the test. I haven't tested this a lot, so let's go IPDS, and we can go with the light platform, since we don't want to take all day to aim at things. So this is sort of like the cheapo mode version of the bigger IPDS. It's smaller, less armored, less impressive, but it actually fires faster. It fires a slightly different projectile. Excuse me. It fires a slightly different projectile. Different gun. Yeah, this here is the projectile. It doesn't look that different. It's really, the only big difference is it doesn't have that little bar in the middle, so I guess it could get knocked off course by turrets more easily, but honestly, I'm not super concerned about that. It does have a slightly faster rate of fire, as it's a simpler design, so there's not as much moving around. But if we just back off a little bit here. Right. This thing has really good mobility too, because it uses the gravity generators to also drive a gravity drive, like a gravity engine. So this thing can go really fast if it needs to get out. Okay, so let's fire just off to the side so you guys can see what it does. And there it went. So let's go for something that would be like a near miss, right? Or let's go for something. Let's go for a hit. Let's go for a hit. Will it be enough? No. It was enough to turn it sideways, which may have made it worse. Let's just try and plunk one there. So it might just be making it worse. With this kind of level of acceleration, so in the base game, without speed mods, it would be a lot more effective at protection, because there's only so fast a projectile can go. But with speed mods, I think it's not doing so well. Because it fully perforated the ship still. It just went sideways and did that. My invention's starting to look a little bit dumb. Alright. Let's see here. So, I guess it'd be much better if we went for the front. So let's turn on our gravity drive and cruise on over. You can see that acceleration is quite fast. And we also want to go down a bit, so we're going to perfect. Perfect. Maybe less perfect than I thought. Okay, we've gone too far down. We've gone too far down. Oh, what the heck? Why are we drifting towards them? Ah, Ah, no. Get away. Okay, I want to be sort of like head on with the ship. So I want to see what it does in a head on sort of approach here. So let's say I want to hit there, right? So I activate my... Dang it, not again. What did it hit this time? There was something exploded. Hold up, do I have explosives in that part of the ship? Please tell me I don't just have explosives. Oh, it hit the torpedo room. Okay, so I was working on a small block torpedo, and I think it hit the torpedo. There was a torpedo here. Yeah, that explains the... Yeah, okay, that kind of blew up a torpedo. You can see our gyroscopes here. Kind of hit the gyroscope room a little bit. And then probably just got forced down. Yeah, it got forced down and out of the ship by the gravity generators. So it kind of looped in and then came out the bottom. But, oh yeah, I should probably, you know what, I'm going to give you a brief tour of the ship, just so that you kind of understand what you're looking at. Also because I don't think I've shown it off before, so let me turn off the funny gravity. Okay, because it also toggles off the onboard gravity for the crew. So, there you go. Okay, so this is the first room in our armored citadel, basically. This room goes down to the hangar, actually, which is an open style hangar. Lots of empty room. You can fit like small ships in here. Nothing too huge. That's a problem. Geez, who keeps poking holes in all my ships? Could it be that someone named Evan keeps doing that? It might be possible. Anyway, this is the gyroscopes that you were seeing earlier. So where it penetrated was right down there. You can see this room's been decompressed. So don't open your helmet in here. Yeah, so you've got a full armored box, heavy armor, of course, and this is inside of the ship's protection, which is mostly like light armor plates on the front, especially. But there's some more heavy armor clustered around here and the living quarters. So this is, you've got your battery banks, oxygen, and some of the reactors here. Still inside of the armored box with bulkheads, of course. If we go into here, I'm just steadily decompressing all of these. It doesn't really matter. This is your main fuel store. You've got a lot of fuel to feed the very hungry hydrogen thrusters. Storage is actually outside of the Citadel, just because I deemed it rather foolishly, I'd imagine, to be less important. Though you do need that ice to keep your ship going, so maybe that's a bad move on my part. You can see kind of where the heavy armor stops and the light armor starts, specifically because, like, in this area, you can see how it deformed. So there's actually a strip of heavy armor that runs along the turrets, and then back here, of course, around the thrusters, this thruster bank, it's all heavy armor. You can see that little line there. That's where the heavy armor stops. So this section here is heavy armor. The entire crew quarters section is heavy armor. If you look in here, there's their bridge, of course. Pretty substantial. Kind of cool in terms of like the viewport, and I like it a lot in this sort of style. the big open glass thing. It's impractical. It's vulnerable to fire. I don't care. It's dope. You got your cryo bays, weapon lockers, stuff like that. Pretty standard. Nothing super exciting, honestly. A couch. Got a couch. My interior design is clearly like super great, but you've also got all of these individual bunk rooms. They're all the same, so the crew don't get jealous of each other. Yeah, you've got 2 bunks, a window to the outside, and then a vent. So if I actually had everything closed and not just leaving doors open, then this whole area would actually be pressurized. I think. Yep, okay, so we're getting pressure. Yep, so the whole area is pressurized, and the cabins get their pressure through these vents over each door. Yeah, you can just look, you can see each of the cabins are exactly the same. And that goes all the way down to the end of the hall, where you've got sort of like communal, there's like a bathroom, you got some little wash cooking stations, and then your oxygen from the back. So, pretty simple crew quarters. Nothing special, fancy, or especially efficient about it. The main cool thing about this ship is the Citadel box that protects the vital stuff, and the fact that it's just a huge ship. I find that to be pretty cool, but it's not hard to make a huge ship. It is hard to make a huge ship look good. I think I did an okay job at that, with like the coloring and stuff. Yeah, so let's get. Let me. Shoot. Okay, so they're over there. We can get rid of this, and we can get rid of. Actually, no, we'll get rid of that too. Then head over to back over here. And we have arrived. Get out of here. We want the Gorathia, if only for aesthetic comparison. And turret protection, seeing as I don't have any turrets on this yet. And if a meteor storm comes by, it'd be nice to have some of that. Although I also do have defense platforms, which would do just fine, so. These are the old defense platforms, actually. I've got new ones, they're a little bit better. Because these ones are also really big. Like, you don't realize when you're building with heavy armor blocks, but holy cow, these suckers are huge. Like, these turrets, it's like, oh, that's not a big turret. You know, but you look in third person, you're like, well, this is 3 times the size of a man. You know? These things are no joke. Somehow that's supposed to be 25mm. I don't buy it. That's like at least 100. Anyway. Like, look at these. Just enormous barrels. It's like the size of your fist. It's like a 88 or something in that range. It's big. Yeah, that's my old defense platform, and then where's the new one? It's right here somewhere. There it is. This is the new one. It's a lot thinner, slimmer, more compact, resource efficient. It's got a little docking port. Not as much armor, but it's got good range of fire for the guns. So I like it. It's the WS10 series, whereas this is the WS9. So clearly it's superior, which means we're going to just stick a bunch of them around for asteroid protection. Alright. Seems good. Our base of operations is set up. Let's get to work on this ship here. So I still need to complete Speak of the Devil, Meteor Storm Inbound. Alright, we're going to put one more out there. Maybe that's overkill. Don't really care. I do wonder where the meteor storm's coming from. Oh, there it is. Not even getting close enough to see the particles. It's just getting taken care of. In fact, they're probably all gone already. Anyway, let's cast some light on this project here. So here we've got this is the back of the cannon, and then this is going to be the main crew use / stuff compartment. There's one backup. There's one reverse thruster, which is not the way I want this to be. I want to have a little bit better thrust than that. I think I have enough room to cram in some thrusters. They're going to have to, of course, be the normal ones, since the industrial ones aren't as good for interior thruster use, just because they're a block longer. So if I go, then I'm going to go out from here. I think it's 6, not 7. It's 7 blocks. So then that is our cutoff. Which means I'm going to put a block there, and we're going to put more thrusters. Draw one. There we are. 3. And 3. And that is not. Alright, so the way I want to do this, actually, is instead of having these out here, I want to. Oops, that's right, I don't have a mirror right now. Oopsie. Oopsie doopsie. Okay, so I want to mark where that is. That is. Yeah, it's at the end of it, so we can put our thrusters here. The other thrusters there. Take notes, kids. That's how you do interior thruster design. And then we get more hydrogen tanks in here. Oops, that's not what I meant. So that, there we go. Of course, we're going to have to link these up with piping, but that's not too hard. We can actually make that normal pipe. Okay, so now, actually, we have plenty of connection points, so we can just do normal pipes. So I think some of the hydrogen generators are back there, but we can also shove them in basically wherever they fit, like that. It's sort of, you can make it part of the organic piping, although it will be targeted by turrets and stuff. So you do have to kind of watch out for that. I think for the outer one here, we're just going to do the conveyors. always have a backup line, especially for something important like thrusters, because it's so easy for them to get taken out in a fight. So having at least 2 connections, I mean, ideally you'd go for more than that and have it like interconnected back and forth so that it's really like solid. Like I need to connect this with strong lines to that section. Like this whole storage. Well, actually, none of this is storage yet. Well, the front area here has got some storage. In fact, I think that should be enough storage for the whole vessel, hopefully. This is not exactly a cargo ship, so the most thing it would need to carry would be the materials to make its projectile, which is, you know, mostly heavy armor. So, you know, and while I don't use a lot of my designs in survival mode, I do make sure that they're all survival ready. Just because if I didn't, it'd be so inconvenient for me later if I have to actually use them. So, I think that making things survival ready forces you to build just a little bit different. A little less turret spam, perhaps. And it also makes sure that things have to make a little more sense. And there's nothing wrong with the grounded sci-fi design. I really do like those. So, sure thing. Alright, so now let's just carve out this section here. That section. So, ooh, that's going to get in the way of our spar there. Oh well, we can put that somewhere else. And it's purely decorative, really, so it doesn't exactly matter. But what we can do at this point is we can take that and that, and we can make something truly incredible. And by that, I really just mean a nice thruster. So we can actually do. Actually, I can just go all the way up. Alright, and so this actually will provide a fair bit of protection, but still allow the thruster to actually do its thing without burning any armor. Last thing you need is your ship destroying itself, so you always make room for thrusters. Even if you don't play with thruster damage on most people, if you want to use anything in multiplayer, you're gonna have to make sure that it's thruster damage proof, or else there's just not much point in using it, because you'll just die. You'll end up carving away half your thrusters because they're all inside and being used in funny ways. That's a bad idea. Just having all of them connected with modules. Jeez. Inviting disaster. Here's what we can do then. We can do some extra connections. That seems legit. So we can also interconnect across, which adds extra stability to the system. I think we're going to have a bulkhead here. It sort of separates off this side of the ship here. Let's get on that, actually. I think this is going to have at least a small hangar somewhere. which shouldn't be hard. It's a pretty big ship, so. And the small hangar is, again, it's small, so the back area here seems like a good spot. Let's get some hangar doors going. Where the heck are they? I've completely blanked out on where hangar doors are. Whoa, 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 what is large magnetic plate? No way, that's super cool. I had no idea. That must be in the, you know, that's probably from, do they have the magnetic plates for small? Oh, they do. Oh, that's so cute. And then very small. Wow, this is cool. This is cool. This is like kind of a new landing gear. It looks a lot cleaner than the really big, ugly landing gear. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to have to put that on some of my ships. Man, the industrial packs look so cool. Like the thruster, and now the magnetic plate. Come on, that's super dope. That is just super cool. Super, super, super. And don't even get me started on how absolutely bonkers the industrial hydrogen looks. Look at that. It's so cool. It eliminates like most of the connection points, but damn, it looks good. I mean, jeez, man, this looks great. And the new pipes are pretty cool too. Like, check these out. Where's the new pipes? There it is. So these things, they're all like circular. There's just so much. It's so cool. You've got like the straight pipe. You've got the straight pipe with the little flange on the end, and then you've got this like quote unquote end pipe. I think I have it facing the wrong way, but like it all looks super cool. And then the sorter looks really great too. Yeah, it's kind of got like this really organic sort of feel to it. Yeah, anyway, they're cool, but I don't use them very much just because the like on the inside where you're going to be seeing a lot of pipes, it's like it doesn't really matter what they look like because it's kind of in those like really heavy machinery sections of the ship where you don't really want to be free walking around. But nonetheless, they look super cool. I don't actually remember if they added. Oh yeah, they also added beams. The beams are pretty cool too. Those beams are neat. Now, where was that? There. I'm just lightly dumb. Jeez. Okay, so I think we can just do a hangar like that. Right? That's clearly not big enough for an actual proper hangar. So, yeah, we'll go with that. It looks small, but it's actually pretty large. Let's see if I can actually fit my ships through it before I finalize that. Let's see. No, it's the CCF. Oh yeah, that'll fit through. Easy. Easy peasy. Just make my little tiny microfighter. And that'll easily fit through. Yeah, this thing's a bit underpowered. And a bit chunky. But it looks kind of cool. I like it. Basically, all the thrust is forward. But even then, it's not very fast. It's just sort of like a really small, cheap fighter. It's supposed to be very compact and everything. It turns really fast, probably too fast. We've got the heavy strike. Yep, there it is. This is the much better fighter. It's bigger. It's got way more capability, and it's almost entirely hydrogen. It's also got a projector inside, so you can fix broken stuff just by taking it to a welder and sort of spinning it around a little bit. So it's pretty neat. I like this one a lot. It's also got bombs on it, actually. So underneath each of the main engines, there's like a little bomb with an armor block on it. And you can kind of like dive bomb stuff. Here, let me show you. I mean, granted, there's not going to be defensive firepower going, but you'll get the idea. So you go in, release, pull off, boom. You know, and they're like small explosives, so they're not going to do like a crap ton, but you know, that breached the heavy armor. Granted, it was around a window, but still, that's not bad. You can only do it once, and then they're gone. But then you don't have to worry about clang, so you can maneuver to your heart's content. Anyway, where was I? I was going to show off there. Yeah, I want to see if this actually works. And look at that. Sliding right on in. And up we go. This is a pretty fun fighter. But we know it fits now, so that's all that really matters. Oops. Yep, so that'll fit, which means we should probably group that before anything else happens to it. Actually, you know what we can do? Let's make it go down. Oh, that's right, we can't attach to that. We could just expand it out to fill this whole area. So let's have it go down, and we can hide. Ooh, we'll hide some gyroscopes in there. Perfect. I just failed to place gyroscopes. Me with brain not working. Okay, so that's good. We can probably just box up this area. Actually, so hanger should go to here. That seems reasonable. Actually, wait, no, we can do it. So we can do this. Right. Layer the bottom. Well, actually, what we should do would be to save weight, of course. Because we don't really need armor right there, so what we should do to save weight, use a half block, upside down, flip out. And now we can color the floor, preferably a light color, so it's not like the outside. Like that pure white, that looks good. Clean armor. Yep, and now Now we're cooking with gas. This also helps with lighting that might be sparse inside of a ship. So if it's all white, the ambient occlusion sort of takes over, and you get a lot more good sort of lighting, I guess, without all the actual effort of good lighting. So maybe it's something we shouldn't really have, but I like it, so we're going to go with it. You can't see. Oh, you can see light from everywhere, so. Alright, how are we going to get rid of that? Oh, this is simple, actually. Perfect. Now, did it get rid of? It did. So, if I do that, is that showing? No. Okay, it's not. Good, good, good. Good. Oh, that's right. It disconnected all that. I should put a block in the middle so it doesn't just happen. Perfect. Actually, you know, what the heck am I? I should be... No, it's fine. It's fine. It's light armor. I don't care. I was going to say, I should be making the walls out of half slabs as well, so that it would save on weight. And that kind of makes sense, but that also kind of really doesn't matter that much. So what I can do now is I can take that, get a Kerchowy. Perfect. Just the exact wrong one. That'll be a bit better. Yeah. There we go. It goes in. Oh yeah, I should probably take that all the way back to here. So the armor doesn't just slough off in a fight. Although I probably don't need this many connections, it does sort of thicken the armor as well. Yeah, that looks good, although the bottom part of that looks bad. And I might have to at least attempt to make that right. Although, I think this is probably enough at this point. Let's see, let's take it as far as I can. Yeah, that'll have to be enough. That and this. After I was just talking about weight savings. It also removes the lines, so that's kind of important. At least it helps remove some of the lines. I should probably put a bridge in soon. That seems like a good plan. Oh yeah, it's also going to need the actual sensors. Oh, not sensors, but it's going to need the timer blocks, which are not easy to make. Well, it's not that they're not easy to make, it's just like annoying, I guess. So we're going to need 2 timer blocks. And this is going to be sort of like a mini tutorial on how to set up a gravity cannon too, because really it's not that hard. So I think that anyone should really be able to do it. And that's not just me saying that as like a person who knows a lot about space engineers. I don't, straight up. I'm naming this one Start just so that I know. So that when I'm looking in, I don't go and I click on the wrong one. Alright, I think we should have all of the actual things hooked up. So what we can do, set up actions, we go to groups, and I've made a couple, I've pre-made a couple of groups here. So we've got the projectile gravity. So we're going to want that to actually go here. We're going to want that on. And then we're going to go, we're going to search up, what's it called? Merge. So that's the merge block on the projectile, and that's the one on the ship. I made sure to label it before I put in the projectile. So then we turn this off. Oh, yeah. I need to leave room for, because this is the merge block here. We're turning this off. We're turning this on. I need to leave room for the actual ship gravity to get turned off, because that's the first thing you want to turn off. So that way when you fire your projectile, it doesn't shoot down in the direction of the ship's gravity while it's going, which can cause severe damage to your barrel and ship. And also, you just won't be able to use the weapon. But yeah, so that's the first you want. You want to turn that off, turn these on at the same time, so that way it sort of swaps out, and then fire, kick everything back on. Welders are going to stay on. Oh yes, and then also, final slot, we want our other timer block 2. We're going to start. Actually, we're going to do trigger now. Or no, we're going to start. That's right, because it needs a little bit of time for the projectile to leave. So timer block 2, we're going to set that to 2 seconds. 1,002. It should be about enough time for the projectile to leave the barrel with enough velocity. Yeah, sure, why not 3? So that also limits our rate of fire just a little bit, but you know, it's fine. So then we want to immediately toggle this off. And then, well, no, wait, we don't want to toggle that off first. We want to first, we'll toggle that off second. But first we want to have our merge block, the ship one, we want to turn that back on. So that way it can reconnect with the next projectile that's being built. So on, off, and then would come your ship gravity for the crew compartment. Wait a minute. I just realized something. I don't have an off button for the projectiles, actually. The gravity blocks on the projectile. That seems rather pertinent. I should probably do something about that. Because these two artificial mass are going to be dragging the ship down. That's fine. I'll just set the... We don't actually need to make room for the ship gravity then, because we'll just set the range to be too short to actually interfere with the projectile. Or else it would just be pulled down all the time. So that should work. If we go back to here, we can leave that space open, that's fine. Well, no, we don't want to, actually. It's a big confusing mess. Actually, no, we want on, remove, I want to turn that off. Then we want timer block 2 to start. Okay. So, theoretically, you activate timer start. It will first disconnect the merge block, and then second, it will turn on the gravity generators. And third, it will activate timer block 2, which will turn on the merge block again to receive the next projectile and turn off the gravity generators. Well, it'll turn them off first. So then that should be it. And then you bind that to a firing button. Then you can shoot at anyone you want. Like so. Let's just get We'll just do it like this. Test fire of the weapon appears to be quite effective. So effective it has just lagged the game. I think, oh shoot, it set off a jump drive. Although it appears to have not actually done the thing it's supposed to do with the mod, just because of probably the destruction. Wow! Well, you know, I really like this projectile. It's a different style of projectile than I've used before. So I wanted to see how it would do. It looks like it does just fine. Although it didn't penetrate the citadel, so I might try another shot, just as a test. But this is a new, heavier projectile. Oh shoot, is the projector not on? Something ain't right here. Something ain't right. Why isn't the projector on? Projector. Blueprints. IPDS. Heavy IPDS ammo. Is that not doing the thing? Please tell me it's doing the thing. It's not doing the thing. What is this? A sham? Okay, so what I need to do is I need to fix that. So for some reason it just completely forgot to do that properly. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sneak around into here and do some configuring. We just grab a button panel here. We don't need this mirror, we just need a button somewhere. Oh, a vertical button panel. That's pretty cool. That must be part of the industrial one. Anyway, we can just use this to control things. So what we really need is to get into the... Oh, it doesn't actually let you in. Oh well. Let me Let me try that again then, with a different button panel. Why the heck can't I place this anywhere? Okay, there, it'll place there, but it won't. No, it will place there. Okay. So, what we need is to, number one, find our welders, turn those off, and then we find our projector. That's the wrong way. Let's get our forward off. Set vertical. Vertical is the one. I think it's yaw. Nope. Roll. No, that is correct. Okay. Roll. And then is that lined up? Yes, that is. Okay, so now I just need to get it properly. So, vertical 2. Alright. Show only buildable. Key projection. Okay, now turn these on. Projectile welds up. Okay, thank goodness. Alright, now we can fool about. Because it should actually follow our projectiles now. Which means that excuse me, we can actually hit that citadel. Let's get a nice view. Crunch. And do we have another one in? Yes, we do. It's a much heavier projectile, and I don't think it goes as fast, but it does a lot of damage. I mean, look at this. It actually does do a lot of armor damage, too. To be fair, in this case, I have a hydrogen tank explosion mod going, so that does explain why the entire room is devastated from one penetration, but you can kind of understand why that's problematic, why it's a very powerful weapon. So, and you can also kind of see the protection of the actual citadel itself. So it's only one armor block thick, but it's set inside of the actual hull. So you have to get through the light armor hull and then hit the heavy armor inside. And it just doesn't happen very often. There's a pretty vulnerable jump drive box, but again, if you're playing vanilla, you're not playing with hydrogen explosion mods or jump drive explosion mods, so it's much less important to protect your ship as such. Albeit, this is a very effective projectile. I'm very happy with this. This is sort of going to be the standard, destroyer loadout from here on out, really. Chunk. Crunch. Like, it just does a crap ton of damage. It does a lot more armor damage, too, so it looks more impressive. Just because of the slower velocity, really. Oh yeah, I should probably also test out the mobility, because this thing is much lighter than a lot of the other platforms, but it's not that light. Alright, what about our forward? Let's see if we can get... Let's go this way. Alright. Okay, that is respectable. That is very respectable for speed. Like, this is easily a destroyer-type vessel. It's got plenty of thrusters and plenty of hydrogen too. So I think as long as I don't keep it, as long as I don't get too much heavier, this should be a fine ship. Let's see if we can run a projectile all the way down. I think we can do it. You may fire when ready. Chunk. Oh my gosh. Okay, time to check that out. That's just a complete annihilation of the propulsion section. Oh my gosh, it just carved through it. I think, and a piece even went all the way to the back and came out. I don't think, it might have just been a particle. But I imagine it wouldn't have had any trouble going through this section, considering that it's just a mess. You know, I don't know if anything actually came out the back. Because I saw a little puff, but I don't think that really meant anything. I think most of the projectile disintegrated, but then came out the bottom here. That is substantial damage. I kind of want to try this with a full-on Gorathia, like a full-size, not damaged at all one. So let me do that, because that sounds like a great idea. Trash removal or entity list. Let's go. Gorathia. Remove. Heavy IPDS. Remove. Okay, I need to figure out which one is the... Okay, that's the actual ship. Okay. So then if I remove all of these, I'm just left with the ship. Got it. Cool. So we've got this thing. We've got the... Well, actually, no. Let's go for the Dragons. Because this is going to be a more impressive target to actually do significant damage to, considering the armor. We're going to put it a ways away. Not too far away, actually. Doesn't like that. Is it just that close? Okay, it's not actually just that close, but so let's try this, because I'm curious to see what kind of damage we're gonna get from this. Okay, so it appears to have crunched into the underside, and it didn't perforate through to the top, not that it really needed to. So you can see it impacted right about here at the secondary bridge. It missed barely the command chair, went through here, busted out this engine. Oh wow, busted out more than that engine. It kept on going, kept booking it. And it really ripped up everything through here. It smashed through this bulkhead, and it ripped out these engines. Oh. Oh, that's what it was. It was all the items. All the items from the Gorathia. I was like, what? I wonder why I couldn't spawn it there. It's because all these items just sit around. Okay, so did it actually hit anything at the back? It seems to have disabled this thruster bank as well on its path. So it kind of just carved right through like that. Did it penetrate through in the hangar area? It does not look like it did. I didn't really expect it to, though. Let's go for a higher shot. Something that's going to be engaging a little more armor. Something center mass and closer to there. Crunch. I think once again it's sort of been deflected in. Oh my goodness, we really ripped that section up really well. So this is where the actual gravity generators for the actual cannon are. So that would be these little teeth here. There'd be a gravity generator, you can see. Or it didn't delete them. It spared a few, but it really chunked out quite a number. And it continued on. Looks like we've got pretty significant damage to the gun, although it looks to be functional still, so that's good for the gun. Bad for the other gun, I guess. Did it destroy the... If it destroyed the actual... Like, let me check on this here. I know that hidden away somewhere in this compartment there are the actual timers. There's the projector. So I think the timer is maybe behind the projector? I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually went through it and like looked for it. It might be lower too. That's also a possibility. I can't seem to. Oh no, there they are. There's the timer. I think there's not two of them, is there? No, there's only one. Does this just toggle? This must be the second one. So then maybe the first one got destroyed. I don't know. Not really sure. All I really know is that, man, that thing chunked. Like, that really did some damage. And I don't even know how bad the damage would be further back in the ship. Let's see if we can get more of a, kind of a, something like that. Also, let's get the sun around here so we can actually see it. And fire. Takes a bit to spin up, you notice. It looks like it penetrated at least this far into the ship, because I saw some little explosions in there. So let's see where that actually ended up going. So it looks like it hit here, since it's missing all the corner pieces. And it also seems to have ripped through a pretty non-important area of the ship. So that's kind of to be expected. There's a lot of extra mass on the front of the Dragoness that really isn't that important. So I don't think that's a crippling shot. Like if you'd hit the jump drives or something. So let's go higher. Sort of an angle on the top here. Out it comes. Crunch. Ooh, alright. That must have been a hydrogen tank. You saw how it kind of skipped off the top. I think with really heavy armor, it has a bit of a problem with that. But okay, so that was a storage container. And then did it do anything past here? Okay, it destroyed hydrogen thrusters, knocked out 2 turrets. Oh my goodness, it took a chunk out of the bridge. I didn't realize that. So it actually did go all the way back here. Impressive. Impressive. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Like this thing, it's a lot slower velocity. But man, if you can find a big target to shoot at, it's just gold. So I think the slower velocity also kind of contributes to the fact that it's doing a lot more damage. Because it doesn't clip so much. So there's not as much... Oh, that one skipped off. I saw the projectile fly. It certainly... Wait a minute. Only the first set of glass panes is gone. That's insane. I did not actually think it would do that. Oh, clearly the bridge is decompressed, though. Yeah. It left the glass, but absolutely gutted the bridge. Nothing left. No mercy. So these things can be pretty powerful, and I imagine even in vanilla this would be no joke. Headed at you. Although in vanilla you can also just run away, so that's something you can do. I want to see that skip though. Okay, let's try that again. I want to see it skip. Okay, that failed to skip. Oh, there's a chunk that skipped off. Let's just aim there again. Because that really just bounced. Like I say, these things don't really bounce, but like, look at that. It like grinded up a bunch of it. But then chunks went and just shot off into the distance. Like, that's pretty cool. Overall, though, this thing's pretty great so far. The design could use some work, but like, what design couldn't? I do want to. I'm gonna save this first. Okay, so now what I can do? I want to try a no, like a flyby with no inertial dampeners. Right. So like if I do this, and I start going, right, and then I activate it as I fly by. How well is that going to work? Or is this just going to explode in the barrel? No, that works. That's pretty cool. Sort of do that broadside. Just fire away. I think we slammed a solid hit. Yeah, right here. Ooh. It didn't seem to have hit too much. It severed a couple of fuel lines. It's a bit underwhelming attacking my own ships because they tend to be really well connected in terms of, you know, having all this stuff have multiple pipes going to it and everything. So there's not a whole lot that like will knock out full sections of it, especially on the Dragoness, where there's just so much interconnection that it's kind of insane. But yeah, so that is certainly cool. I'm very happy with that. Also, just the speed of this thing, very refreshing. I'm used to a lot of my capital ships being quite slow, so this is good. This is very good. So, now I think we need to start working on command bridge and other facilities. So we can get rid of this, because we don't need it right now. But we do need some heavy armor. We do have heavy armor. We'll go for interior paint. And let's get started. So I think what we're going to want, really, something like this. Our bridge is going to go here. And of course we're going to want heavy armor, because you don't want to die, do you? Dying is for losers. Actually, this is probably going to have to be in this color. If we can, we'll recolor it later. Excuse me. Alright, too high seems good enough. We can put a roof on it now. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so that's that. Alright, and we're going to want to sort of take this back a ways here. Probably here. And then this is going to go out to there. So we're going to want a step up like this. And I don't know how far back that's going to need to go, but that's going to have to go back. So what we're going to basically do is this. We're going to step up that, and then we're actually going to get our light armor going. Like so. Pow. And we actually don't need one there. And then from there we can get our normal blocks, put those in, remove that somewhat, build up, and then build over. Actually, let's keep that there. I want to do another transition here. So, okay, that can cover the top. There. Sort of sloped out that. Then, what I want to do on the front here is actually a bit more of this kind of angle. So then take this and we're going to put in that, like that. Right, then we're going to have to transition this so into that. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. All things considered, I could just have it just do this. This is probably fine. Actually, not with heavy armor. Excuse me. That is sufficient, I think. So to just get that out like that. we're good, really. That feels wrong somehow. Maybe if I go with this, be a bit better. Actually, wait a minute. This could be cool. This could be cool. Okay. Hold up. Slight change in plans. Where was it? It's gotta be in here. You telling me it's not in here? There it is. Whoop-ow. And then we can... Uh-oh. Something like this. It's not working. Okay, let's try. Let's check it out. Sure. See, that's cool. That's good. I kind of like how that looks, so we're good. We're gonna stick with it. Alright, bridge is blocked in. However, we still have to deal with our windows, which we might actually be unable to place properly. I like to work with the 1x1 windows. That way, if something breaks, it's not a huge problem. Do that, and then invert it. Perfect. Nice. Okay, and that should be good. Oh, actually, we can do that. Double layer at the top so that we can single layer this spot. Perfect. So that should theoretically be airtight in there. We'll have to see. But that should be a decent bridge. Maybe I should add a little overhang too. See, I'm not really sure because I don't want like too little visibility, but too much visibility is the thing because visibility also means that you can get shot at. So like, not sure. I guess it's a destroyer, so I don't know what I'm really complaining about here. Visibility is key. So we can actually remove some of the armor to get a little more overhead view, but we'll double layer the glass. Extra. No, we can use armor panels for that. Oh yeah, that's right. That's another thing that came with the industrial update, I think, is these heavy armor and light armor panels. So these are pretty cool because they just are like an extra layer you can put on things. And they're like super thin, but I guess they just protect enough that it's worth it, really. So I'm just going to plop some of these around. Actually, this would be good to put over like final sections that are not really heavy armored. Like, actually, the front of this ship would be, like, the front of these engine columns here, like that. You know, all the full blocks. I'll put it on all the full blocks. That seems like a good idea. Seems to me like a fantastic idea. And I can also put it on the front here. I don't know how much these will weigh, but I think the added protection against, like, rockets and stuff is going to be pretty good. Because even though it's like a little thin sheet, it's going to be worth it, I think, to have these sections armored up, since this is a sort of, you know, face towards enemy kind of thing. So I think that if I just sort of armor up this front section, it's going to go a long way towards being better. The top is already armored in this area. The bottom is not, but I don't think it really matters too much for the bottom of it anyway. I do want to make sure that I'm sort of covering up this area. A lot of this is sort of priority. Try to put a heavier piece there. Perfect. Not really. Although we can do this now. So that actually works just fine. Yeah, let's probably make sure that this is still working. Okay, go through here. Oh yeah, we can put a seat down here. Let's see here. Got a few. I think this seems good. Something like that. Because then, when you look around, you can actually get a pretty good view. And you can also still sort of aim the gun. Speaking of the gun, we're going to want to acquire that, aren't we? It's going to be start on that. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I think I'm going to shove a camera down the barrel. So that way it's protected. In big brain move, I just put the camera on the projectile. I'm not going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is this. So then that there, that's another heavy armor block, right? I should check before I just say that. I don't want... Yeah, it's heavy armor. Alright, so that way I can put my camera in there. Perfect. Is it sketchy? Yes. Is it perfect? Also yes. Probably gonna need a better way to get in than that, but whatever. And that should stay pretty well protected, although it doesn't give a very good field of view, so I might want a bigger one. Like, you can see right where it's going to go, though. So that's pretty cool. And you can see it leave the barrel. I am going to include another camera, or at least a few, because honestly, you're going to want a few. And if I include some at the end of the barrel, that will also be good. Although I'm unsure as to, yeah, no, that wouldn't be a smart idea. Yes, I'll just put a hole right in the front. Although there's not exactly a whole lot of other places to put a camera, so it might actually be the best spot. I can take off these tiles though, since they're pretty. They're pretty light, I guess. So taking these off and replacing them with backup cameras, not the worst thing in the world. And I should have all three just available from the sea, because what else is this ship going to be doing? It's a destroyer. This is kind of going to be its role, so. Camera, it says there's only two. Why does it say there's only two? This here exists. So, cam. Did I not put another camera there? Is that what's happening here? So if I hit, oops. Right, so that works. Wow. Let's see if we can skim one off the top again. I kind of liked how that looked. Point. Oh wow, that actually just absorbed most of it. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Pixel, are you watching? Pixel just out of the blue posted at me. It was like, big shot. And I'm like, I wonder if he's watching the stream. I wonder. For what? You don't just have people, coincidentally come up and just say big shot? It's like, no, not really. Is that something I should be expecting? I mean, maybe I should. Okay, I think that also this is the nice thing about the armor panels is you can also color things and then just cover up what you've colored with the armor panel in a different color, so you don't have to worry so much about Kachingus Kachongus. This gun is humongous. I should probably also sure. Yeah, this is good stuff though. Let's see. So I've got that worked out. I need to check, make sure there's actually another camera on the front there, because that would be. There is another camera there. Why won't it exist properly? Like, huh? What? That's a bit odd, I'm not gonna lie. Do 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 do. More gyroscopes. Do 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 do. I don't have any idea. Alright, well, that seems to be good. I guess that extra camera just is not able to be used for whatever reason. Just refusing to exist, which I found to be pretty funny. Is there... is that a loose... That was loose, wasn't it? Yeah, that was loose. Okay, well, that explains a lot. I think what we're going to have to do is also increase the gravity. Although it's not, there's nothing really bad about the gravity at the moment, it's just not the best. So we might have to add to our supply of gravity boofing devices, just to achieve a little bit higher muzzle velocity. Yeah, it's probably fine actually. It's just a big projectile, so it looks like it's going slow. It's actually going quite fast, even in my slow estimation of how fast it was going. Anyway, cover up that now. Alright, there's not a whole lot more that needs to happen. I mean, I do need to put turrets on, which means I'm going to have to route some piping. That's not so bad. I can just do that. So it's really not a horrible thing. If I recall, this entire top thing should just be a bunch of... Yep, that's what I thought. So what I think I'll do is I will put turrets up here. That seems good. This seems unprotected. That's a bit odd, but sure. We'll go with it. Actually, heck no we won't. What am I talking about? Unprotected is not the way. It's a great way to die. A slow and agonizing death in space. Alright, I think that's enough. So we've literally just filled in the area behind that line. That should be good. That should be good. Okay, so we've got turrets, or area for turrets on the top. I think if we go through here, I think we want some lower down, so we can get... That's just above, so that's like there. But I think we want turrets on that line. So I'm going to run some of these up here and across in a way that is completely and totally normal, and interconnect them wherever we feel like it, I guess. Okay, that's connected. Just sort of put in some random connection points here, back to the main grid for redundancy. let's begin. So. Yes, there's the jet. Alright, now we're going to fill that whole space in with these. Alright, so we got some hard points on the sides now. We need some on the bottom, but I don't really know if we need that much. Let's just check. Oh, we got plenty of connection points down here. This should be plenty well-armed ship. That's for sure. Or at least for its size. You know, it'll have rockets and things, which is really all you kind of need. Railgun, I could put that in too, but that's modded, so I'd rather not. Let's see. Gatlings here up front. And then on the back over here. Did I turned off, when did I turn off that? Is that not, that's not mirrored. And that's not mirrored. Gosh dang it. Okay, so now that I have it on, I'm going to remove those. Remove these blocks here. Remove these. Then I'm going to replace all these. So that way that's actually mirrored. Not really. These are mirrored already. These are just holes now. Okay, so I'm going to sneak around here. Figure out just how far I pull this back. It looks like all the way to the end. So that should be fine. And then I also need to figure out where exactly I put in the interconnecting ones. So I put some in there. I should just remove two. Actually, no, that's not correct. So all I have to do is do this. And just replace them again. Perfect. Alright, and then how do I get out? No, I'm trapped. Let's pop out here. Okay, no one even saw what I was doing. Okay, now let's try this again. go. There's 2. There is a few more. There are federal agents outside my house. Get some rockets up in here. I think this whole thing's going to be a rocket battery. That should be good, actually, in terms of protection. Or offensive firepower, because that's fair. That's fair enough. And it has a lot of broadside firepower, because like pretty much all the guns on one side can train to the sides. Above would be also quite good. Especially, well, actually below, because then these have a better range of fire. The nice thing about the sloping on a ship like this is that from like here, right, all those turrets can see you. So there's no like dead zone for those turrets in that arc. If I had been a little smarter, I would have also sloped it in the same angle on the other side. But you know, so nothing horrible. Yeah. Get out of here, man. Jeez. Just looked over. Who TF is this? You know exactly who it is. Anyway. Let's see. I think, yeah, we need to do some interior decoration. Time to redecorate. Of course, I'm going to start off with a gravity generator. Kind of need one. Not sure where to put it. Okay. That seems to not be causing the ship to accelerate downwards. Or is it? Oh yeah, that's well into the range of the actual gravity generators. So I'm going to have to bring that back. Actually, you know, I could probably put it underneath the... I could put it under here, come to think of it. It's a good spot for it. Why are we moving down slowly? I have... Hold up. Is it still in range? Oh my goodness, this goes for so far. Okay, cool, it's not moving. Alright, what I'm going to have to do is we have to curtail the actual gravity generator here. Jeez, okay. Let's go for like 50. Alright. 50. 50. We'll see how far that extends forward. Okay, that cuts off rather abruptly. But that's actually kind of what we want. Because we don't want it to be... Okay, so let's see if it's width or height. It's width 70. Let's go for 80. Width, height, depth. Okay. Still cuts out basically right after this, which is interesting. So if I replace this again, fill this back in, and I put it in the middle and set them all to 50, then it should be fine, right? Oh, let's see, that's perfect. Do I have, how much gravity do I have in the bridge here? I've got gravity up to the chair. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That really is perfect, because that also means I've got gravity back to the lip of the actual. Yeah, that seems pretty much right where I want it, honestly. And then, of course, the height is not that important. It's like, oh, it stops up here. Like, oh man, that's horrible. Oh no, gravity protrudes out of the ship. What are we gonna do? So, that problem's been dealt with. Let's see. Now we can start working on interior a bit, I guess. We can put an armor plate over that, actually. Now that I think about it, that's a great idea. Light armor panel. Wow. Kerblammy. You know what? I'm going to use another timer block because I'm fancy. Or I'm deciding to be fancy today. What I'm going to do, put a timer block above this door. It doesn't have to be above this door, but I'm putting it here because I want to put it there. I want the panel facing down. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take doors. Okay. I'm actually going to make it so that when you open up the hangar door, it closes the interior door automatically. While I'm at it, recategorizing things. Okay, so our doors delay is just going to be like setup actions, group, hangar doors. Open/closed. And then slash closed. Okay, and then I'm also going to make sure. So I'm going to go through, right? Now we can put one of these right here. And program in that we're looking for door. Trigger now. I'm also going to do this. I'm going to lock. Share with no one. So I guess I can still open it, but that might cause problems. It opens really fast. Yeah, whatever. So if you do this, then that closes before that opens. So like one way it has to go really fast, the other way it has to go slow. That's hard to do. I guess you could just close. This is turning out to be a bad idea. It's turning out to be a bad idea, so I'm just going to do this instead. More panel. There we go. And then we can share this door with everyone. And just delete this. It's a travesty. We can do different doors too. So there are better doors out here. The offset door is pretty cool. The offset door is very cool, very Chad. The most Chad kind of door. It goes great with half slabs like this. Like, look at that. Magic. Absolute magic. Look at normal wall you walk through. Ooh, texture. So cool. Look at all that texture. Aren't you glad the texture is here? Texture your walls. Welcome to abject darkness. Okay, I think we are. That looks pretty tight, so that's good. Now, next step. Actually, shoot, I've been doing this wrong. All around here, we actually want to continue the corridor like this. Or like that, actually, so we don't want that. Right, we want this kind of corridor. So we don't need the fancy style. Although, we can still do it. It just requires a little less principles. Like, look, there, that's plenty fancy. Do you feel claustrophobic yet? Keep in mind you're on a spaceship, so that might not be exactly an unnatural feeling, but I mean, think about it like this. This is a plenty tall hallway. It just looks really small in first person. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being used to Minecraft, where, like, I feel like your head is above where your head actually is, but it's just a perspective thing. Yeah, it's a bit weird, a bit wacky. bit quirky. We can have a central... Ooh, we can actually have a central vent system. I've been wanting to try something like that. Right, so you get something like this. Put your vent over the doorway, or over the... or I guess like that. And then you would take something. Actually, these work very well for this. And you sort of channel the air through to get it to a centralized distribution spot. I don't exactly know how well that would work, but we'll see. We'll see. Another thing you can also do is that you can put doors in between. So it'd have to be the sliding door type, but this will help. This will like allow you to lock down things. We're going to make sure this offset door just gets hidden away so that we don't accidentally do stuff to it. So we're going to want one area that just has all the oxygen stuff. And then we're just going to have vents that go to other places from there. Actually, you know what? This is probably sealed, actually. So I could very likely pressurize the entire hull if I wanted to. Let's test that theory. Let's test it. Okay, so it's not sealed. Oops, that's also not what I wanted to do. Oh no, color match. We could do vents. We also could just not do vents. Because vents allow sussy imposters to walk about on your ship. Yes, I feel bad saying that. I regret it right now, actually. I'm currently regretting saying that. It's just going to be Among Us memes. Nobody cared about Among Us memes. The imposter is not sussy. I don't care. I don't care about the imposter is sus. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't play Among Us. Because Among Us is a sus game. It's just sus. Is that an Among Us reference? No. Stop. Cease your doing of things. Stop being present. Be gone thought. I should really turn on mirroring again. Now this area I think I can pressurize fully. We'll have to see. Let's see, can I do it? Yes I can. Bob the Builder can pressurize a room in under 60 seconds. Find out how. Okay, that can go in there like that and fully pressurize the entire ship. Or at least the entire ship that is available as room for humans. And that kind of means that I need to actually start earnestly working on interior now, which I know. It's hard. It's hard to do. Hard to do it. Easy to say, harder to do. You know the drill. Okay, so now we've got a floor to walk on, and we can just start cramming machinery in here, really. Because we just need power generation that seems plausible, so we can do a little bit of trolling here. Just separate our hydrogen power plants out. I do like how they look, so it's kind of like, and also they're just practical, because you don't, like, where are you going to find uranium? I think it's so easy to find uranium. It's not. It's not easy to find uranium. I don't know where you'd find it. It's like, it's supposedly on Earth, but I don't think I've ever found uranium in the ground. It's like, no, not really. Sorry, no cigar. Meteor storm inbound. Yeah, as long as it doesn't impact the hull, we should be fine, right? 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 I should probably check, although we have turrets online for this. Speaking of turrets online for this, let's bump that range up. Make sure they're targeting the right thing. Target meteors, probably not. On for that. Alright, this looks good. Since this is a destroyer, we really don't need too much internal furnishings. And we can just speed with the button. Yeah, this seems to be fine. We do need to install some communications equipment at some point, but I'm not worried about that right now. Ooh, another door, like a second layer of door would be good. Like so. And then we can sort of blend it in. Not like that. These are the wrong blocks for the job. This one's fine, actually. We're going to go with that. Perfect. We've got an airlock now. So, let's go for a sliding door that goes into the actual bridge itself. And another one for safety and security. And then we're going to put a ladder that just goes up to it. Because screw it, I can't interior my guy. Actually, you know what, it seems fairly okay that there's a ladder in there. It's like, who cares? This is a destroyer. It's a light ship in the fleet. You know, I certainly don't care. Oh no, I have to climb a ladder. You're in space, dummy. You're basically weightless. Go faster. That'll work. That'll work. If you're doing combat maneuvers, that won't work at all. But if you're just being a normal person, then that will work just fine. I do believe that if I need to put some actual air into this room. I think I can use one of the gated windows too, so that's good. Or the vertical window, sorry. We get a little seal going on here. So the cockpit's sealed off. which it is now. Is this? No, this is not actually what I thought it was. So that's just an inner bulkhead. So then that can be colored to match what's going on in the way, you know. And then we can take the ceiling and act like there is not a ceiling. And really just question people if they ask about the ceiling. I've decided that because this is pretty poor power generation, we're going to need some more power generation. And a reactor seems to be in order. Perhaps a large one. A little something spicy, exciting, right in the middle of the ship. And this is going to be really enough to power everything we're doing, probably. Since it's only... I mean, the gravity generators have quite the draw, but they're very temporary draw, so batteries can handle that. And that's really not too bad, so... Pretty neat. Okay, now we're going to go and make sure we keep that interior design looking spick and span. Alright, everything seems pretty good. We can make a faux floor up here. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's make a sort of fake floor. It's really just going to be like a ramp that goes to this. And then there's going to be panels on, actually the panels are going to be in the ceiling. And then this actually is going to be the same room, theoretically. Actually, it could be a different room, actually, now that I think about it. Because that, you know, we're basically making another bulkhead just overhead. An overhead bulkhead. That sounds about right. Although I don't think we'll actually be sealing it. Because I think we're just going to let a ladder go through. So that you can actually get between the two layers. Cool. And then we can put in... we have to actually go do this ourselves. Shoot. So, that is not what I wanted. Let's try this corner. Perfect. A passageway into the above space. So that is going up to the second floor. This is janky. But now we're up on the second floor, and that means that we'll just cover these sections up here. Oh, I should probably make an airlock up here, actually. That seems like a pertinent thing to do. Perfect. Alright, and then this up here can be our medical bay. Let's just get rid of this stuff here. So, we're looking for cryo chambers, med bays, toiletries, a desk perhaps, shelves. Where's the bed? Oh yeah, the couch. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put this down here. We actually have pipes going to it. So, I can actually really just put this anywhere. We can just run a pipe around in a funny way to accommodate it. So let's just put it back over here. I mean, like, screw it. We may as well. And then we can take a pipe and run it to this. Alright, that's looking good. Just need to get this one in. Perfect. I remember actually a really cool mod that had like full block pipes. So they were like, they were conveyors, but you could actually get into the conveyor and walk around. And I thought, that is the coolest thing ever. And I wish that there were more AI enemy mods so that you could get like a xenomorph that would like crawl through the pipes. That'd be so cool. I can only imagine the kind of stuff you could do if there was like xenomorph type enemies. That'd make the game a lot more exciting, I think. Like something that would spawn in space. Like if it was like a dark part of your ship. I don't know how they'd do that. But like it just periodically spawn on your ship. And it like wouldn't be able to destroy blocks. Just like any of the other mobs. It wouldn't be able to destroy blocks. But I think turrets like wouldn't be able to target it. That'd be kind of cool. And it'd be a thing you could turn off again, of course. But like turrets wouldn't target it, so it could like roam around your ship, and you wouldn't really know where it is until you found it and killed it. So like once you knew one was on, and it could like go through like pipes and stuff. It's sort of like how the spiders, they go into the ground and they sort of just teleport to you. Like if the xenomorph did the same thing, but it used like exposed conveyor tube ends, or definitely the air vents. Like any air vent, it'd just be able to use that. So I think it would only be able to. I think to make that work, you'd want it to only spawn on a ship with air vents. And it'd probably have to be able to slip through this kind of thing as well, so that it doesn't just get stuck. So that you could, I guess, you could cheese it pretty easily if it was just something that couldn't get through a window like that. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a kind of cool idea. Some sort of in space thing that would spawn on your ship. That seems like it'd be a real nuisance if you went AFK. So they might just spawn. I guess if you were in a cryo chamber, they probably wouldn't attack you or something. I'm not really sure how to make this work logistically. as I just came up with this, like just now. But I think it's a cool idea, at least. Um, got a couch on here. Plenty of couch space. Pretty cool. Alright. Let's get some other crude pleasantries up going here. Kitchen. Oh yeah. Need some more kitchen. More kitchen. Planters. And then some desk stuff around the edge of the kitchen counters. Ooh, I did that wrong. Oh well. Table. Edge. 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 Actually, yes, we did that wrong. We want the planter and the other kitchen thing to be out here, so we can actually put some things around it. Oops, that's a hole in the floor. We don't want that. That'd be rather intrusive for anyone who were to stumble upon such a thing. And it also does kind of depressurize the crew cabin, so maybe not. Maybe not a good idea. I like the idea that the chairs would slide around on the rail. Like, it makes sense. Like, at first, when I looked at that, I was like, that's so dumb. But you'd want to be able to pull your chair away from the table, right? But then I realized, wait, you're on a spaceship. At any moment, there could be a extreme acceleration event or something similar. And in that context, it makes a ton of sense to have the chair actually sort of stuck to the actual vehicle. Like that. That makes perfect sense. It's like on a ship, you know, they don't just have a bunch of stuff loose and rolling around. It's sort of buttoned up, locked down, if you will. I think here might be a good place for an armory. Or it could be a good place for a toilet. I think a toilet seems more pertinent, as no one wants to take a dump in public. So we should also get a door for that. Probably blocking this area so that people don't get weird. Alright, there, and there. That should be good. Yeah, sure, we can do that. So this is the bathroom. Cool. We can put the armory actually over here. Armory. Lockers. Armory lockers. Perfect. That's our armory section. These things make interior decorating so much easier. Okay, we already got that. Storage shelf. Messy and productive. Oh yeah, that's right, I need the Wasteland pack for that. I don't have Sparks of the Future or Wasteland. I wasn't playing at the time when those were out, so I didn't really bother with it. Oh, actually, this is kind of cool. Half cover walls. I can put those around here, actually. So you don't fall and die. Yep, and then put some pillars around it, just so we know that the ship's really not going to fall apart or anything. Just some peace of mind, knowing your ship is not going to fall apart. And that's totally why there's a bunch of bracing beams throughout the vehicle. It's because there's no danger of falling apart at any point in time. That's why there's so many of them everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. It's because they weren't that confident that nothing's going to happen. This actually looks pretty crowded, so that's mission success, I think. Down here, less mission success. Let's go for... You know what? We ought to get some assemblers in here. At least some... Ooh, I do think that is a good idea. It does not have enough room because the ceiling is a thing. But I don't think there's anything over here, so we could actually just plop this like right here. This would be perfect. Oh yes, it's perfect. It's under something. So this is good. This is good. I have wanted to look at the factory. This is the new factory here, and it looks so good. Like, my goodness, look at this. Look at this. It's all modeled and everything. It's got stairways inside the factory module, which is just awesome. Awesome is awesome. Let's see, does the module actually have a roof on it that I can use to block that? Is that good enough? Let's see. I hope so. I hope so. Let's see. Grab some light armor panels again. Actually, no, we don't want those because we're going to have to put some modules on it. Alright, so you just have kind of some factory stuff. But thankfully, that means that you can't see into the bathroom at all, so that's good. Mission success. We've done it. And we have a dope factory now. This thing is so cool looking. Alright, let's put some modules on the back here. This is a small ship with limited power generation, so we're going to want power efficiency and probably yield, since we're not dealing with the most... yeah, we're going to yield and... yeah, power and yield, just because we don't want to overload our grid, especially considering that a good chunk of that grid is probably going to heavy weapons, i.e. the rail gun. So I'm going to want to make sure that goes down there. Alright, that's connected up. You can see you can walk up in here. It's super dope. Check that out. That's super neat. You can look in the refinery. It's great. You can not put it next to you. Actually, you know what? Screw it. One component cannot be divided. Really? Let's just put it in a large garbage container. Or pound like that. Alright, so now, that's a great way to fall. Jeez. I'm going to have to put a railing up for that. Oh, I don't have railing, do I? I don't have railing. Okay, well, this is fine. I can't just continue this far, though. Because really, it's just like another... I can just extend it like this. Actually, I should do this with catwalks. That would be better. Because if I extend it with catwalks, then I can have another column over here for assemblers. So we've got a full-size refinery. We got an industrial refinery, excuse me. Now we just need an assembler, which I guess we can do. Ooh, let's see, we have industrial assembler. Oh, dude, it's bigger? Yo, it's bigger. I like that. I approve. It's got... Hold up, is that what I think it is? It's got more walkway. Oh, perfect. We can put this up here. And then another one by its side. Like so. Like that. And then suddenly we've got, you know, all this. Dude, these industrial ones look so good, though. Like, I'm just constantly blown away by how really nice the industrial kit looks. I mean, it's sort of a look that Space Engineers has already been sort of trying for, just at its core, you know? But now it's really come into its own. Like, you can see how the... Oh, that looks super cool with the green light. The glow of the green light, especially this big reactor. Oh, that's fun. You know what? I'd be fine if I never actually lit this area up. If I just had enough modules around to just have a constant green light everywhere. That would be perfect for this section. I have some lights up above, I think, but this area does not need lights. Oh, I just realized my mistake. I put these up too high. Simply up too high. Icarus flew too close to the sun, and then he died. Okay, this is... Let's see here. I don't know if anyone is even still watching, but I appreciate all you guys who are watching. This is sort of just like shipbuilding and me talking, so I'm pretty happy with it, all things considered. Let's see. If I can do a stream like this a lot, then I'm going to be a very happy man. Very happy. Okay, so that's at that level. And if I arrange this like so, that's the wrong way to do it. There we go. So it's further down, but that's fine. So now I can do some funny stuff with the piping. I was thinking about using the actual circular pipes here, but I don't think it's really that great, or that necessary in this case. Because I feel like the regular hexagonal, or they're not hexagonal, but the square pipes actually have a really industrial feel to them. Sort of already inherent in their design. let's see here. I think we can get, yeah, we can. So catwalk, we can pull that around to there. Then we're going to start walking to double wall the catwalk to here. Single, single, like that. And now we can go all around and not have to worry about anything like that. And again, since we are looking at we're on a small ship that does not have an excess of things, we're going to want to go for probably for power. Because, well, maybe speed as well, I'm not really sure. But, yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, we can put another module here on the bottom. We can put a speed one there. I'm going to put a power on that available slot. These have a lot of slots, so that's good. You can get more efficiency out of each one. Well, not a lot more slots, like, I think 2 more? No, it's 1 more slot than a normal. 1 more slot than a normal one, as far as I can tell. That's what it seems like. But that ain't bad, so. Or no, wait, it's the same. It's the same, actually. Because, yeah, you're removing the useful side. So it's just bigger. It's more space inefficient, but you can walk through it as well, so it's also like a corridor. Which means you could use it in that way. Interesting. Alright, and then I guess I'm going to have to put something that glows over here, too. Since, you know, I need that nice green glow. I'll just put some batteries over here. That'll work just fine. Batteries? Yeah. Do want to patch that up, though. Grab our batteries back. Okay, it changed. On its way. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Go over here, and it turns light again. Because silly ambient occlusion does not know how to do anything. Check that out. Everything glows green. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, the reactor's big green. I should probably put some little walls around this because it is kind of a nuclear reactor. I don't know, maybe that's a bit too much, but maybe it's not. At least a guardrail. There's the. Where did I put it? Actually, no, I should put some beams in here. Get that good industrial feel. Oh, yeah. Just like that. Although I should probably just mirror it, actually. Turn on mirroring again. Oh, yeah, there's some beams. Let's light up the room again so I can really place my beams here. I can delete that, replace it with a block, and then put a beam on. Oh yeah, this is all coming together. This looks great, actually. I'm really happy with this. The industrial vibes are very hard to miss. It's kind of great. So I think as a final little thing. Let's put some batteries back there. This is our fully fledged industrial zone, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now we go up here. We've got lots of things, but not a lot of lights, which is what we want. We want lights. So let's put some lights up in here. And I think after that, we're kind of done. I mean, we could... I think I'll end the stream after I put up these lights. Perfect. That should be enough for this section. I should put a light in here as well. At least, oh, that's right. I also need to put in a beacon, or at least an antenna. I could do that on the outside though. There's plenty of room. So now, I guess, I make the modules go away. I make the batteries go away. Armor, there's air vents. We don't need you in the terminal. Corner couch. And no, we don't need you guys in the terminal either. What is this? Dun, 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 dun. Corner light. Radius. Let's put it up to like 5. And hide those. And we can turn this up to like 5. And then we can hide the lockers. Hide that. Our efficiency. Hide that. We really don't need to see these. Vertical button. Yeah, we don't need that. Do 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 do. Large reactor. Nope. Gravity generator. Nope. Camera. Okay, this is probably fine. The toilet, we don't. Oh yeah, that's right. That's up bottom. Alright, that should be good. That should be fine. Medical room. Spawn bay. What do we call the ship? If you have an idea of what to call the ship, just put it in the chat. Yeah, because right now it doesn't really have a name, does it? I guess I could just call it what it is right now, is a heavy IPDS. IPDS destroyer, I don't know. If I want to give it an actual name, like a good name. IPDS. I spelled destroyer wrong, didn't I? Doesn't matter. 8,000 blocks. Quite a bit of stuff on this thing. But, you know what? I think I like it. a lot, actually. I think this is a very cool ship. Oh, you know, I need to put a button panel out here too. That seems important. I do that. Oops. Put it close together. There, we can close that. And one thing we really do want is to get the floor here to agree with us. So I'm going to go through here. Next, I need this to go from here through under the door. The door! And all the way to there. Where it will connect up to the main hub. Alright. Then we can use this armor panel and cover that back up again. Actually, we can cover up a little more than that. Does this not protect one? Okay, it does. That seems legit. And then over this, we can put another panel like that. And then we'll hide away a connector. Down in there. Alright, and then we can hide that. Hide the vertical buttons. And that seems to be good. This is the main cockpit. That seems to be all in order, really. That's super cool. Go up here and to the bridge. And everything seems to be in good order. No jump drive, probably shouldn't need one. Oh yeah, I need to install an antenna, or a series of antennas actually, probably. Although we can do that over here. It's more protected, less in the range of fire, so that should be good. We can put here just a big old dish right there. We can color everything else. Blend in a bit. Excuse me. Let's see here. That seems to be good. A beacon and a dish. That should be fine. And if we go to Show ship name, broadcast. Yep. Beacon. It's going to just be our emergency broadcast, I guess. Sure. And then we're going to call it Oh No Beacon. Perfect. Antenna dish. It's just going to show the ship so we can hide that. Okay, we should probably protect our emergency beacon just a bit. I don't know. Perfect. They'll love it. Giving us a screenshot. And save it again. Perfect. Now we can delete these old ones because okay, and we got ourselves an IPDS destroyer. That's pretty dope. Let's, as a send-off for the episode, the stream, we'll absolutely core this sucker with another one. Alright, and that looks promising. Like that. Perfect. Crunch. And, it seems to be doing a good job of crunching, especially like a light ship like this. So, let's see, let's survey the damage. It looks pretty complete. This ripped a massive hole all the way through the ship. Both the beacons are destroyed. I think the more valuable place to hit the ship, though, because it's still basically combat effective, the more important place to hit the ship would actually be in the forward section. Because while a lot of the crew amenities are in this area, the actual, like the substance of what makes the ship run is up in the front. So if we target that, that's going to be a surefire way to make success, or at least make a failure for the ship, the enemy ship. Alright, out it goes. Crunch, and that has done serious damage, because not only has that disabled a lot of the thrusters in the front section, just by virtue of smashing through everything, it's probably also dismantled the main gun. Yeah, the main gun's got a pretty big hole in it. It looks like a lot of the thrusters are fine, thanks to the absolutely enormous amounts of interconnecting that I did, which seems to have served it quite well. I think that the main gun will still fire. Let's try. Yes, it will, although it does funny things. Well, it seems as though we've cleared the main barrel obstruction, so let's try firing it again. We still have the camera inside, so we can try firing it again. And it seems to be coming out in shrapnel. Okay, what's broken? There's something in the barrel. No. Well, there won't be anything in the barrel after this firing. But you can see a lot of this area is in disarray. We have enough gravity generators to still fling a projectile pretty well, though. The nice thing about this being a heavy armor barrel is that it will actually stand up to some amount of punishment. So that is good. You always want to make sure your barrel is armored, so that way that things don't get into it very easily, and you don't have issues like this where it keeps disintegrating on its way out, because that's not very effective. Yep, and it's done it again, but the projectile is now sideways, so that, in a way, is a bit better. Yeah, well, this thing seems to be fairly resilient, having taken two quite heavy shots. I think we'll plunge one into where the engine, like the side engine nacelles, see how that does. And then there's hydrogen tanks in there. And since we've got the hydrogen explosion mod, that may well be a fantastic plan to truly cripple the ship. I mean, I imagine this is going to do a heck of a lot of damage. Alright, and firing. And yeah, that's propulsion damage, but we don't really get the hydrogen explosion we wanted. Let's try the other one. I'd hate for this to be a boring way to send off the stream. Although it's hardly boring, in my opinion. Okay, you know what? We're just going to pummel this thing until it just stops moving. Or just cannot exist anymore. This heavy shot is especially effective against like these light ships. You can see it just absolutely shreds through them. In a way, it's actually the heavy shot is less useful against more armored targets. Simply because it just doesn't have as much punch-through power, but it's got a whole lot more stopping power. Jeez, I'm surprised this thing's still existing. This is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, this is great. The wonders of saving things so that you can hit them later. I wonder how destroying the barrel is on this ship. As long as the barrel... I'm fairly sure that it can't fire. I'm pretty sure we've destroyed the actual thing that allows it to fire. Yeah, we've kind of messed it up a bit. Just a bit. Yeah, it might need a little bit of maintenance to get back in working order. You can see this is the projectile that is in the actual gun. It is now sort of just loose. I imagine, since there are still they still exist, there's still some left. So if I turn them on, right, if I turn on the projectile gravity, then that projectile screams its way out of the ship. Oh, okay, well, we begin flight acceleration. Oh, actually, hold on. Is the gravity still working here? Oh my goodness, the gravity's still on. The industrial section is still alive, somehow. Some of it. You can see the remnants of what was the cockpit here. This ship is in really bad shape. Yeah, all the hydrogen's out. Enough lines have been cut, and enough fuel and storage tanks have been destroyed that it's actually just completely stopped. It's still got plenty of power. There's a lot of batteries on board, so it's still got power for a while. And it's still got turrets. But yeah, it's not exactly doing so hot. So I think this is a good spot to end off the stream. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and I'll be back maybe tomorrow with another stream of probably space engineers, since it seems to be pretty fun. I just enjoy making ships and blowing them up. You know, it's good stuff. So without further ado, I will say adieu to the stream.